The three carried behind them in one scary second during the last lap of the 2001 Daytona 500. The whole NASCAR world went into a terrible nightmare. A bad crash killed Dale Earnhardt, the tough guy everyone thought couldn't be beaten. He died while millions of people watched. In a moment nobody saw coming. The scary facts about the crash will make you shivering, keep you reading every word. I hope Dale was suck. I guess he's all right, isn't he? You okay? You okay? On February 18, 2001, bright sunshine covered the Daytona racetrack, where thousands of fans were excited for the big moment of the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt, the tough guy, sat behind the wheel of the number 3 car, going over 260 miles per hour on the final lap, in third place. He wasn't just racing for himself. He wanted to help Michael Waltrip, a driver from Dale's Team U, was about to win his first race ever. "I'll block them all," Dale told his team over the radio, his voice sounding confident as Richard Childress, the team owner, remembered in the book called 2001. But bad luck hit in turn 4. An older driver named Sterling Marlin's car hit the back bumper of Dale's car. It looked like a normal tap that happens in NASCAR, but it made then-Bird 3 car lose control. The car spun and crashed almost straight into the concrete wall at almost a 90-degree angle. Trouble right behind them. The crash hit as hard as from a 6-story building and shook stands. Just seconds later, Ken Schrader, Dale's close friend, came racing in and hit the side of the number 3 car, making it slide across the track all smashed up. Saw the crash and saw the car sitting over there and saw the ambulances and of everything, and looked really bad. TV camera showed the famous car lying still. Its stop crushed front window. Broken pictures were shown around the world. "I just wanted to get past. I never wanted this to happen," Marlin said in a sad 2001 talk with ESPN, but in the stands and in millions of fans watching live, nobody knew that crash had caused a terrible cascade, had caused a terrible prolonged thing that will change NASCAR forever. In that moment, before the dust could settle, Legend was living his last moments when the number 3 car stopped on the Daytona track. There were no signs of life from Dale Earnhardt. Doctors rushed in, looking worried, only to find a terrible truth. The medical report later released by the county doctor's office showed how bodies deadly injuries were. Dale died away from a broken skull, a terrible break at the bottom of the skull caused by the huge force of the crash. His body had been hurt badly, 8 broken ribs, a broken left shoulder bone, and a broken hip. He didn't have a chance, said Dr. Steve Bohannon, who was there at the crash in a sad talk with the New York Times in 2001. The violent crash had slammed Dale's head into the steering wheel so hard that no safety gear could save him, among the technical things that caused the crash. One small detail became a symbol of fear: Dale Earnhardt's seatbelt. According to NASCAR's investigation, published in August 2001, the seatbelt in the number 3 car was not put in right and also showed signs of tearing where it was attached. What should have been his last protection against deadly force turned into a deadly failure. "We checked everything carefully, but no one saw this coming," said Kevin Hamlin, crew chief at Richard Childress Racing. In a sorry interview with Sports Illustrated in 2001, NASCAR and the team quickly said that seatbelt was not the main cause, saying that the speed and angle of the crash were more important, but questions stayed. Could a small problem have caused the death of the tough guy? A deadly choice. The terrible crash at the 2001 Daytona 500, marked by technical mistakes and injuries that couldn't be fixed, holds one scary truth above all: Dale Earnhardt's personal decision before the deadly race. Dale had strongly refused to wear the hands de vuse. a head and neck safety tool designed to prevent deadly injuries in high-speed crashes. "I don't need that thing. I've raced my whole life without it," he told teammate Mike Skinner in a per-season conversation. According to an interview published in ESPN, the magazine 2002. That bold, stubborn statement showed the spirit of the tough guy. But it would become a decision that millions of fans would be sad about forever. The Hans device, short for head and neck. Support was a lightweight piece aft gear, weighing less than 2 pounds made with carbon fiber straps that connecteth driver's head to the seat, stopping violent whiplash or hitting steering wheel. Invented BIDR. Robert Hubbard, a body mechanics engineer at Michigan State University. The device had proven it worked since the late 1980s. Studies by Wayne State University showed it could reduce neck stress by 80%, lowering forces from a dangerous 740 pounds to around 210 pounds, enough to prevent abrachan skull, the exact injury that ended Dale's life. The idea is simple. Keep the head on the shoulders, Hubbard explained on a racing website. But in 2001, it's only about 10% of Dayton Roovers wore Hans, and Dale wasn't one of them. He complained that it felt bulky, limited what he could see, and took away the feeling of freedom behind the wheel, a common attitude among racers at the time. He wasn't alone. Drivers like Mark Martin and Tony Stewart had also refused the Hans device because it was uncomfortable, or they were old school and didn't want it. "I'm not wearing that thing no matter what," Martin said at Rockingham a few weeks after the crash, according to ESPN in 2001. But when Dale made that choice, it meant more. He was the face of a NASCAR, a man millions looked up to. His decision became even more scary when just 8 months later, NASCAR made all drivers use Hans, a rule made directly because of his terrible death. Since then, the device has saved many lives, including Ryan Newman, a scary 2020 Daytona crash, and Jeff Gordon, who thanked Hubbard for saving my life twice. According to Racer Magazine in 2022, Dr. John Melvin, a NASCAR safety expert, once said, "We've seen crashes just as bad or worse, but no one died because of the were Hans." His words hurt deep with regret. If only Dale had changed his mind. If only he had worn Hans that day, things might have been different. While Hubbard warned that no device could promise 100% survival, especially with the almost straight crash, he still believed the Hans would have made the injuries much less bad. Dale's decision not to wear the HANs remains a scary reminder, a permanent scar of how even Leg and Scanet escaped the thin line drawn by fate. When everything went quiet, the dust hadn't even settled. A scary stillness covered the place that had just moments earlier been full of flights and cheers. Ken Schrader, Dale Earnhardt's close friend, was the first to reach the crash. He climbed out of his car, ran to the window of the Monte Carlo, and looked inside. Schrader's face changed right away. Hewley signaled to the medical team, his panicked eyes saying it all. "Ich knew right then, Dale was gone." Schrader later shared in a rare 2011 interview with NASCAR website. His voice was choked with emotion. He refused to say more details, the pain still too great. Tens of thousands of fans at Daytona's track, who had been screaming only seconds earlier, suddenly fall silent. The sound of engines, the sirens, and the chaos of the race seemed to be swallowed by a heavy quiet. On the TV show, Fox Sports announcer Mike Joy, his voice shaking, couldn't say, "We're seeing one of the worst moments." Fox Sports 2001. Millions watching from home. Whether in North Carolina, bars, or living rooms across America, felt something deeply wrong. Doctors rushed in, opened the door of car number 3, and began trying to save Dale. For over 20 minutes, they tried to save him. But every effort was useless. He was taken to nearby Halifax Medical Center, where doctors could only confirm a thing no one wanted to hear. Dale Earnhardt had died at the crash. no bit of hope was allowed to form. The whole world seemed to freeze in that moment. Us footage of the legendary car, now just a crushed wreck, was shown across TV networks, carving an impossible-to-erase pain into the hearts of fans. A wave of sadness. The crash at Daytona in 2001 did more than end Dale's career. It left a deep scar in the hearts of his family, co-workers, and millions of fans. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Hysen, was still racing through the final laps of the Daytona 500, not knowing Thathy's father was already gone. Only after his race ended did he rush to Halifax Medical Center, where a terrible truth waited for him. "I saw my father, the man he thought was unbeatable, and he was no longer there. That was the moment my whole world fell apart." Dale Jr. remembered in a heartfelt 2002 interview with ESPN. Teresa Earnhardt, his loving wife, stood quietly with their children, Kelly, Carrie, and Taylor, drowning in wordless sorrow. "We didn't just lose a husband, a father, but the very soul of our family," Teresa said tearfully in an official statement published in USA Today days after the tragedy. The sadness went far beyond the family. Michael Waltrip, who won the Daytona 500 that day, driving for Dale's team, could not celebrate. He only learned of his mentor's death after stepping off the victory stage. "I dreamed of this win all my life, but once I heard Dale was gone, it meant nothing." Waltrip said in CBS Sports in 2001. His eyes were red. Sterling Marlin, the driver who had accidentally hit Dale's car, was hit by a storm of criticism. He got waves of threats from fans and lived in fear. "Dale was my friend. I never wanted this to happen, but the harsh words just kept coming like I meant for it," Marlin told the Charlotte Observer in 2001. Ken Schrader, who had seen Dale in his final moments, chose not to speak of what he saw. In his 2011 conversation with NASCAR website, he simply said, "I lost a friend, and I didn't want to relive that moment." Fans across the country who had seen Dale as an immortal hero turned their sadness in a wide tribute. Thousands gathered outside Daytona racetrack, leaving flowers, candles, number 3 hats, and handwritten notes of love. In a video captured by Fox Sports in 2001, one fan barely holding back tears said, "Dale wasn't just a driver. He was our life. The reason we came here every week, bars across North Carolina where Dale had grown up, flew flags at half-mast, and replayed his greatest victoriouses away to say goodbye. Across the nation, from early online forums to graffiti-covered walls, the number 3, Beckham, a symbol of loyalty and loss." Dale Earnhardt's death wasn't just an accident. It was the spark that forced NASCAR to grow up. His legacy, forever tied to the name Thato Guy, remains carved in the soul of the sport. A legendary journey before becoming the tough guy and facing tragedy at Daytona. In 2001, Dale lived a life fueled by passion, challenges, and love, starting from his childhood in Kannapolis, North Carolina. Born on April 29, 1951. Ralph Dale Earnhardt grew up in a small town where racing was the heartbeat of the community. His father, Ralph Earnhardt, a famous dirt track racer, was his greatest inspiration. "I was just a little kid sitting on the garage stool watching my dad's fix cars and talk about racing," Dale remembered in a 1990 interview with Sports Illustrated. But childhood wasn't filled with joy. The family struggled with money and Dale dropped out in 9th grade to chase his racing dream, going against the wishes of his mother, Martha. "I knew I was born to Rachi," he once said. According to THE2001 book, Dale's career began on dusty dirt tracks in the late 1960s, with a self-built car and skills picked up from his father. He quickly stood out with his daring driving style. In 1975, he started in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series at Charlotte Motor Speedway, finishing 22nd. His hard work paid off. In 1979, he earned Rookie of the Year, and just a year later, at 29. He became the youngest Winston Cup Series champion at time with 76 victories and 7 championships in 1980, 1986, 1993, and 1994. He stood shoulder to shoulder with legend Richard Petty. Dale didn't just race, he lived for speed. Team owner Richard Childress shared with NASCAR website in 2000. One of his most emotional victories came at the 1998 Daytona 500 after 20 failed attempts. "I've waited my whole life to hold this trophy," Dale shouted from the winner's stage. According to ESPN in 1998, Dale's personal life, especially his marriages, was also full of ups and downs. He first married LaTon Brown in 1968 at just 17 years old, and they had a son, Carrie. The marriage ended 2 years later. In 1971, he married Brenda G., the daughter of a race car mechanic. Anthony had 2 children, Kelly and Dale Jr. Money, pressure, and his love for racing strained the relationship, leading to divorce in 1977. "I wasn't a good husband. Racing was everything to me," Dale admitted in a rare 1995 interview with People. Stability came in 1982 when he met Teresa Houston, a banker who would later become his manager and rock. They married that year and welcomed daughter Taylor in 1988. "Teresa helps me stay balanced and on track," Dale said to the Charlotte Observer in 1999, while her role in the team would later spark debate. She was by his side until the very end. From a Kannapolis boy dreaming of speed to a determined race-ran devoted family man with Teresa, Dale's journey is a story of burning passion and the steep price of glory. Those years shaped a legend, making his death at Daytona all the more painful and unforgettable for fans everywhere. Immortal legacy. Dale Earnhardt's death at 2001 Daytona 500 brought deep sorrow, but also started a movement of change and tribute, turning him into a lasting symbol of NASCAR. Still, his influence grew even more after his passing, touching every corner of the sport. Dale's death forced NASCAR to face serious safety concerns. Within 8 months, the organization made all drivers use the HAN's device, installed safer barriers to absorb impact, and introduced the Care of Tomorrow with stronger frame design. These innovations saved lives, including Ryan Newman's during a terrifying crash at Daytona in 2020. Without Dale, we might still be risking our lives every week. Driver Kevin Harvick said to NASCAR website in 2011, "His loss, though painful, became the catalyst for a safer era, a mark forever carved in racing history." His legacy also lived on through Dale's team. The racing team that prototyped victories and nurtured talents such as Michael, Waltrip, and Dale Jr. Thoth team later faced challenges. Dale's vision of building a top-tier operation continued to inspire. Car number 3, his listing symbol became sacred for years. No driver dared use it. When Sten Dillon brought it back in 2014, heckled it the greatest honor of my career. As reported by ESPN, fans still wear shirts bearing the number 3 and raise banners at tracks. A promise that tall guy is never forgotten. In popular culture, Dale lives on through documentaries like The Day Remembering Dale by ESPN in 2011, books and country songs that celebrate his unbreakable spirit. Dale embodied the American dream from a poor kid in Kannapolis to a global icon. Country singer Charlie Daniels wrote in a 2001 tribute, "NASCAR museums, including Theon in Charlotte, devote significant space to his cars, helmets, and trophies, drawing thousands of visitors each year." His legacy is more than titles and stats. It's the passion hepest on turning NASCAR into a sport of emotion and unwavering loyalty. Dale Earnhardt, the tough guy, wasn't just a racer. He was a blazing fire, the soul of NASCAR, and a timeless symbol of courage. The crash at Daytona in 2001 took his life, but it also lit a torch-off legacy. From safety reforms that saved countless lives, to the number 3 forever carved in fans' hearts. Every lap run today reminds us that glory often comes with a brutal cost. What does Dale Earnhardt's journey mean to you? What made him a legend in your eyes? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like and share this video to spread the story further. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future videos about speed legends. See you again in the next videos.